Hi Zobal, thank you for joining us. Here are the weekly highlights of Arakan. At least 9 civilians killed in junta airstrikes on Kyauktaw. Indian ambassador inspects strategic Kaladan Port in Sittwe amid project delays. 2 killed, 8 injured in junta airstrike on village in Gwa Township. 11 dead after passenger boat capsizes in Rathedaung Township. Rising costs force Arakan farmers to reduce cultivation as agricultural sector declines. ULA introduces 3-tiered licensing system for Starlink internet services in Arakan State. For more than 2 years, relentless conflict has gripped Arakan State as the Arakan Army continues to press its major territorial offenses against the military regime. What began as localized struggle has transformed the entire region into a critical front line. From the week of June 15 to 21st of 2026, tracking not only the intense military and diplomatic maneuvers across the state, but also the heavy price paid by the civilian population caught in the crossfire. Here are the key developments regarding the situation in Arakan. At least 9 civilians killed in junta airstrikes on Kyauktaw. A devastating wave of junta airstrikes struck Kyauktaw town and its surrounding areas on Wednesday afternoon, leaving at least 9 civilians dead, including women and children, and 18 others injured. According to preliminary casualty figures compiled by the local rescue workers, the aerial bombardment targeted at least 6 distinct locations across the region. The strikes hit Kyauktaw Lane 2 and Yuama Ward, the sector between Kyauktaw Lane 2 and Kyauktaw Lane 3, Strand Road, the area beneath the Gesbanadi Bridge, and the Lamdo area located at the foot of Kyauktaw Mountain across the river. Local sources reported that 5 victims were killed directly within Kyauktaw town, while another 7 died in the nearby Lamdo area. A direct strike on the Lamdo market area left at least 1 person missing and sparked widespread destruction. In total, the junta air raid destroyed approximately 30 structures, including civilian homes, active market stalls, and a Buddhist monastery's ordination hall. As the military regime faces continued battlefield losses, it has increasingly intensified aerial attacks targeting civilian infrastructures across Arakan State, including residential areas, religious sites, schools, hospitals, and local markets. In response to the escalating threat from above, the United League of Arakan and the Arakan Army have issued an emergency warning, urging the public to remain highly vigilant and strictly follow air defense safety measures to mitigate further casualties. Indian ambassador inspects strategic Kaladan Port in Sittwe amid project delays. India's ambassador to Myanmar, Abhay Thakur, conducted an official inspection of the Kaladan multi-modal transit transport project facilities in the Arakan State capital of Sittwe on June 18. The Indian embassy confirmed on Saturday during the high-profile diplomatic visit, Ambassador Thakur met with junta-appointed Arakan State Chief Minister Unai U to discuss ongoing technical adjustments and infrastructure preparations required for port development. The ambassador also held consultations with the representatives of international organizations stationed in Sittwe before conducting further discussions at the Consulate General of India. The inspection comes on the heels of a recent meeting in New Delhi where Myanmar junta leader Min Aung Hlaing and India Prime Minister Narendra Modi agreed to accelerate the completion of long-delayed transport corridor. The KMTTP remains a highly strategic trade initiative for New Delhi, designed to connect India's landlocked northeastern state of Mizoram directly to the Bay of Bengal through the Sittwe port and an inland river terminal in Palawa, Chin State. While India aims to bring the route into full operation by 2027, intense conflict across the region continues to stall progress. The project faces significant geopolitical hurdles as key transport routes and surrounding territories tied to the corridor are currently under the administrative control of the Arakan Army. 2 killed, 8 injured in junta airstrike on village in Gwa Township. A military junta jet fighter dropped 3 500-pound bombs on Yamatran village on Monday evening, killing 2 civilians and injuring 8 others in the southern Arakan township of Gwa. The attack occurred shortly after 7 p.m. in the Jintali town area of Gwa Township, which is currently controlled by the Arakan Army following the withdrawal of regime forces. Local residents identified the deceased as U Wei Lin, 50, Dotu Zamo, 38, both of whom died at the scene from severe shrapnel injuries. The strike also wounded 8 other villagers, hitting both young children and the elderly. The injured have been identified as Ma Yun Isan, 11, Ma E Myamon, 12, Do Etenda, 40, Do Kempu, 52, Do Su Myamon, 42, Do Ken U, 70, Go Aung Tu Rawin, 26, Ucho Nyunte, 53. The deadly raid came just a day after a junta jet conducted 2 consecutive bombing runs on nearby Kyauktaw village on June 15th. While no casualties were reported in the earlier strike, residents confirmed that the bombs demolished a local school building and heavily damaged several civilian homes. 11 dead after passenger boat capsizes in Rathedaung Township. A seasonal maritime tragedy unfolded on Monday morning when a passenger motorboat capsized in a creek near Bonajan Township, claiming the lives of at least 11 people. The vessel was transporting 34 passengers from Mazel Island in Rathedaung Township toward Kyauktaw Township when it encountered trouble. The accident occurred at approximately 11 a.m. near the turbulent mouth of Rakhine Creek. Emergency rescue teams and local residents rushed to the scene, successfully pulling 24 survivors from the water, several of whom were immediately transported to a local hospital for medical treatment. Search and recovery efforts have since retrieved the bodies of 8 victims, identified as 3 men and 5 women. According to local residents, Rakhine Creek is notorious for treacherous and powerful currents, which intensify during the monsoon season due to heavy rainfall and rising water levels. In the wake of the disaster, local authorities and rescue organizations had issued an urgent advisory imploring travelers to exercise extreme caution when navigating regional waterways during the rainy season. Rising costs force Arakan farmers to reduce cultivation as agricultural sector declines. A compound economic crisis is forcing farmers across Arakan state to drastically scale back cultivation or abandon their ancestral lands entirely, threatening the backbone of the region's agriculture sector. Local producers reported on Thursday that rigid transport restrictions and ongoing trade disruptions have driven the price of essential farming inputs to record highs. Farmers are struggling under the weight of soaring fuel and machinery costs, critical labor shortages, and cratering market demand for local crops. The impact on individual livelihoods is severe. Local farmer Unyumo Lot shared that despite owning 15 acres of arable land, skyrocketing expenses limited him to cultivating just over 2 acres this monsoon planting season. According to community estimates, rising fuel prices have pushed basic land preparation costs above 200,000 jets per acre. Meanwhile, the financial return on paddy sales is nowhere near enough to cover these initial investments. In territories administered by the Arakan Army, a single bag of fertilizer now commands between 250,000 Myanmar jets and 300,000 Myanmar jets. Due to severe domestic supply shortages, farmers must rely on expensive alternative trade routes from Bangladesh and India to secure agriculture inputs. While the United League of Arakan has stepped in to distribute seeds and organic fertilizers to mitigate the crisis, residents note that access remains heavily restricted in remote areas. Despite facing guaranteed financial losses, many families continue to plant out of sheer necessity, having no alternative sources of income. Currently, 100 baskets of high-quality Balsam Mui paddy are valued at just over 800,000 jets in the local market. Farmers face an asymmetric economic squeeze. The cost of importing commodities from mainland Myanmar, India, and Bangladesh continues to climb, while local agricultural products remain deeply undervalued. Agricultural advocates are now warning that a prolonged reduction in seasonal cultivation could trigger a severe food security crisis in Arakan state, urging administrative bodies to introduce immediate market stabilization and financial support measures. ULA introduces 3-tier licensing system for Starlink internet services in Arakan state. In an effort to regulate communications and bridge the digital divide, the Technology Department of the United League of Arakan has officially rolled out a new 3-tier licensing framework for Starlink internet services across the state. The details of the regulatory system were disclosed by a Technology Department official in an interview with Arakan Princess Media. The framework is designed to manage the satellite internet network in a region where conventional mobile networks and internet access remain heavily restricted or entirely cut off by the ongoing conflict. The newly established licensing structure is divided into 3 distinct categories. Class A allows users to rent Starlink hardware directly from the ULA Technology Department. It requires an annual license fee of 2 million jets, a monthly service fee of 600,000 jets, and a refundable deposit of 5 million jet. Class B, abortion for privately owned Starlink terminals. Owners must formally register the devices with the department and pay 2 million annual license fee, alongside a 1 million jets fee every 3 months for operational rights. Class B users remain responsible for handling their own direct Starlink subscription charges. Class C, designated specially for Starlink subline installations and commercial home, fiber-to-the-home services. These operations are currently being deployed in major urban centers, including Kyauktaw, Mrau, and Myanmar, with the explicit goal of providing high-speed internet to the public at affordable commercial rates. According to the Technology Department, the structured licensing system aims to stimulate socio-economic development, broaden public access to critical information, and streamline vital communications for local businesses, media outlets, and humanitarian organizations, all while maintaining public security. Public Starlink communication hubs have been maintained by the ULA since 2024, with private ownership later integrated into formal taxation system in early 2026, while residents report that Starlink connectivity is not accessible in the majority of villages throughout townships under Arakan Army control. Highly remote pockets of the state still remain without internet access. That concludes our overview of this week's defining events across Arakan State. As the situation continues to unfold, we'll be back next Tuesday to bring you the vital stories and updates shaping the region. Stay tuned and stay informed. May all people of Arakan and the world stay healthy and safe.